Welcome back to the channel, guys. Today we have a will it start video for you. This is another Facebook find. It's a 6,000 pound forklift. I believe it is a Yale Eaton combo thing, but today we're gonna see if we can get it running and if we can put it to work.
Yes, I know. What the hell is that? I don't know. Again, me, Facebook Marketplace, we have this relationship. It's bad for some people, not me. It's great for me. That is a 6,000 pound forklift. It just popped up on Facebook Marketplace, and 2-3 hours later, it was mine. Does it run? No, I don't even know what's wrong with it. But for 500 bucks, we might as well find out, right? I'm gonna Google that VIN number, see if it tells us what year it is. Yeah, give me like 2 seconds. I'll let you know what it is. So looking at the intake and exhaust manifold combo thing, it tells you it's old. I don't know how old, but it is. Yale Eaton combo, max capacity 6,000 pound lift. It says 93, but there is no way that manifold is from 93. I hope not. So I'm not having any luck, but it's a Yale Eaton. It is a GP60 series. I'll put the model here and the serial number, so if anybody knows how to look up the year, I'm thinking probably mid 80s, something like that, or even earlier than that, just because it's got this little Ford motor in it. So after looking up the engine code on the block, it turns out this is a 172 cubic inch inline 4. These things were produced from like the 1930s to like the mid 1960s. So a little bit of history on it. The person I purchased this from owns a towing company here in Albuquerque, and they have a lot of these actually, and they're just getting rid of them pretty cheap. And he told me that they had a rebuilt motor in there. So he said it had like 10 hours on it, which, you know, that means it's blown up probably. And what he did tell me is he let water into the cylinders, so the motor's not rotating. It's just my luck. You know, either it rod knocks and has low compression, or they're locked up. That's the only way it goes for me. But these things are probably so simple to rebuild. Getting it out might be a pain in the ass, but rebuilding those, not a big deal. We're gonna throw a wrench on the crank. I had penetrating oil in the cylinders for the past 24 hours, so it should be more loose than it was, I guess. And we're gonna see if we can get it to spin over a little bit. If we can get it to spin the whole 360 degrees, we're gonna throw the starter at it and see if we have spark and throw some fuel in it. I don't think we're gonna get that lucky though. I'm gonna grab the compressor, blow out some of the dirt, because there is dirt all over this thing. There's even dirt in the top end right now. Let me show you. Didn't have this bolted down, so there's a little bit of dust inside the cover. I'm gonna blow this out and hopefully clean out the interior of the valve cover. And then we're gonna throw a wrench on it and see if we can get this thing to rotate. Hopefully we can get it to rotate. It must have been leaking out of that valve cover for a while, because there is so much caked on dirt right there. It's almost like concrete. Ooh, yeah. That's just dirt and oil. Give yourself a jack handle, ratchet that you really don't care about because you might break it. Hook it on to the harmonic balancer and make sure you're tightening it. If you rotate the engine in the counterclockwise direction, you might just loosen the bolt that holds the harmonic balancer on. Then you're not getting anywhere. So make sure you're tightening it in the correct direction. You don't want to put a whole lot of force on it. You kind of want to shock it, kind of thing. And the people I bought this from, they're pretty nice. I don't think they would lie to me about it being rebuilt, but who knows, you know? Yeah, she's a little stuck. So I'm just gonna kind of bump it. Oh, I think it just came free. Oh yeah, she's rotating. So we may have gotten really lucky. Oh yeah, she's still definitely not easy. I'm gonna pull the spark plugs out. Woo! It's definitely not easy to move, I'll tell you that. And I was looking at the tag, how much this thing weighs. It says it weighs 11,150 pounds. And I mean, I can believe it, but holy shit, that is heavy. No wonder it was so difficult getting it here. Oh, she's going now. All right, I think it's time to find a battery, start taking her over, clean up this top end a little bit, and then see if we can get it to fire. Now that we have the engine rotating a full 360 degrees, we can move on to cleaning out the valve cover and rocker arms and getting all of the debris out of there. We cleaned it up as best we could. There was quite a bit of stuff in there, which is a little concerning, but I think it'll be all right. We're going to move our attention to getting a battery. I have this old Nissan truck that was in my last video that has bad compression, so it doesn't need a battery. So we're stealing that, and we're going to slap it in this really cool tray that they've designed to swivel out of the way to fill up the gas tank on the forklift. And I mean, come on, how beautiful is that? Like, come on. They don't make stuff like that anymore. Look how long these battery cables are too. So what is this?
That's a ground.
And this is a hammer. And this might catch on fire. So that's cool. Nothing. Not even a spark. Don't smell anything. It even came with a key. I mean, what are the chances, right? There's penetrating oil in the cylinders, so it's probably gonna go everywhere. Oh, let's give it a second and see if we have anything lighting on fire. Okay, you ready? Oh wow, it sounds really good. Wow. I'm gonna put some more PB blaster in there. And make a mess. Wow. Wow. No way. Just throw the spark plugs back in. Take a look at the points. I think it's a points ignition. And I'm sure the coil is shot. I don't even know where that is. You know, we might not even have a coil. Nah, no way, bro. Damn. Well, there's no coil. Wow, let's just hear it one more time. Wow. Maybe he wasn't lying. That might be a brand new motor. I want to find out what kind of coil I need. You know what we gotta do? We gotta look at that gas tank. I bet you that gas tank is really bad. So I'm gonna open up the distributor and look at the points because I'm just really curious. Oh, there's a little bit of dirt in there, dude. Not in the valves. Well, I believe this is for our coil here. Guess we could check the engine oil over here. Looks brand new. God, it sounds really good. Sounds like it has equal compression across the board. I'm not going to check compression because I don't want to know unless it doesn't run. Because if it runs, woo, we're good, dude. Let's go find a coil and see if we can't get this thing to bark off. Oh, that looks very bad. Wires don't look that bad. These will definitely be usable. I don't know why they're 17 miles long. You know, it's like the distance from here is, you know, very short. Let's go see if we can find a coil. At this point, I got a little sidetracked. I noticed that the carburetor had a lot of debris inside of it. It looks like the forklift was sitting outside in the elements with no cover and no air filter for quite some time. There's a lot of buildup at the throttle plate.
So we decided to investigate a little bit further. I ended up taking off the entire exhaust and intake manifold just to see what was going on in there. And yeah, we found some stuff. I'm not sure what happened to the audio here, but this is me showing you my new sweet ass coil that doesn't require an inline ballast resistor, and me explaining how the ignition system works. This actually isn't a points ignition. This is a really rudimentary cam sensor with an ignition module that runs off of this distributor for timing. It's probably the earliest one I've seen. Again, I have no clue what year this forklift is, so it makes it really difficult to find out what is going on. But you know, we're just gonna hope that this ignition module still works, because it doesn't look like it's the most dependable thing in the world. All right, so we just threw in the new coil, got it wired in temporarily until I build the bracket. I have the one main coil lead here. I'm going to just test for spark, and that's hoping our ignition module down there is actually doing something. And if it has spark here, we should be good to go. Let's see if we can get this thing to fire off here. Oh shit, we got spark. Oh yeah, we're good. We're gonna get the spark plug wires on. I don't know if the distributor cap's 180 out because it has no like keyway or anything that tells me which way it's supposed to go on. So we might be 100 degrees out on the timing, but we'll get that hooked up and see if we can get this thing to fire off. Threw the wires on. I didn't even really pay attention to firing order. Just gonna see if it pops off, backfires or something. And if it does, then it'll motivate me to actually look up the firing order. Finding information on this is very difficult because I don't know what the hell it is. Yeah, we're gonna see if it bucks off. Wow. Yep, she's trying. Well, let's look up firing order. Alright, I swapped them around. It's 1423 is what it says, or 1243. But we still might be 180 degrees out, so we'll figure it out. We got that Japanese barbecue sauce. Stick that down the chute there. Mix a little bit of oil in that. You know. Hey! We're gonna pull off this fuel line just in case the thing kicks over. We don't want to suck any nasty fuel into the carburetor because we'll probably have to rebuild that eventually. But if we can get it running, and if this fuel pump works, which would be pretty cool. And yeah, I loosened this before I started recording because I knew it was going to be a pain because someone rounded it off to the point where it's not even fitting anymore. I'm going to fire up this battery charger, so it's going to be a little annoying. And we're going to crank it over. See if we can get it to bang. Get your Japanese barbecue sauce. A little down the chute. Turn it over. Oh yeah. Sounds right. Get the throttle here. She's running. Sounds pretty good. Sounds like there's something chattering in the transmission. I don't know what it is. Might be a problem.
That must have been full throttle, eh? Well, we ain't got no fuel coming out the tank yet. I'm smelling something hot. Could just be the exhaust manifold. Yeah, in case you didn't know, TJ's back from the Navy. Currently. His face has been popping around in videos here. So we know it runs. We know it doesn't leak a lot of fluid yet. Really haven't driven it. So we're going to see if we can lift this mast up and see if it works. And then we might drive it. Maybe not. We got to figure out the fuel system first. That fuel tank's either empty or that fuel pump is just, it ain't working. So we got to figure that out. Lord, that doesn't sound good. Well, it moves. That's cool. Doesn't sound very good. Doesn't sound very good. I don't know what's going on here, but it doesn't sound hot. Sounds really bad, dude. Oh yeah, she's been just wearing down right there. I'm thinking that probably needs a little bit of lubrication. Looking bad. I think it needs some bearings. Yeah, definitely needs a little bit of that. Doesn't sound hot. So there's a fitting. Let me get you in here and show you what's going on. Well, I think we got pretty lucky here. The reason there is oil coming out of the mast hydraulics is there's a vent tube or a return, I believe it is. If there's oil on top of the diaphragm inside the cylinder, it recycles back into, I believe, the tank. Yeah, it comes right back in here into the tank. So that's gonna need to get replaced. It looks really bad anyway. So we'll get a new hose for that, get a new fitting. I'm gonna have to self-tap the fitting out of the mast and get a new line. And that line looks like it's low pressure, so I could probably just use some old hydraulic hose I have laying around. So that's cheap. No crazy leaks. And still no gas coming out of the pump. It looks like we got good oil pressure. There's oil on the top end now, which is good. Yeah, I think we may have gotten lucky here. We'll figure out the linkage for the throttle and we'll get this reassembled, and then we're gonna need to figure out the brakes, and then we can see if it drives. And we're back. The guy went down and got some parts for us. Got us some new fuel line and a new 12-volt ticky-tacky pump. The pump is driven off the crankshaft, and I'm almost 100% positive it doesn't work. I'm actually going to show you the tank right now. It doesn't look good. It looks pretty rough. So we're going to run it off an auxiliary tank just to get it running. Then I'll probably throw in some fuel into the tank and just let it slosh around pretty good, and then eventually figure out how to clean it out. The tank has to go out the bottom of the forklift, and it weighs 11,000 pounds. So I don't know how you're supposed to do that. You probably just like dig a hole under the machine, drop it into the hole, and then like drive it away, and then clean the tank and put it back in. I don't know. I'm hoping we can just flush it out, maybe throw in like a snake in there and just break up all the material and put like 3 filters in line to the pump. And then maybe eventually it'll just clear out. I don't know. But that might be a whole project, and we're not going to tackle it today because I want to see if it runs. And I really want to start picking some shit up, you know? Never owned a forklift. I've operated a lot. Never owned my own. It's great. Let me show you what's going on. We can't use the gas tank right now because, well, let me show you. I mean, look how sweet this cap is though. I love this style of cap. But we open this thing up and it is rough. I mean, look at this thing. That's probably how the whole tank looks. And if you open it up, and that's what the tank looks like. So, not gonna be using this right now. I'll figure out how to clean that or get us a new one. I'm not sure. But for now, I got 5 gallons ratchet strapped to the cage, got a 12-volt pump running straight to the battery. We're gonna prime it, see if that needle and float even do anything. Hopefully it seals, I don't know. But then we're gonna see if we can pick something up. Maybe that little truck. No, the forks are pretty short, so we can probably pick up maybe the golf cart. Something, I don't know. So we got it primed. Nothing's leaking out yet. Cleared the line. I'm gonna pull the top of that carburetor off and do as little as possible. Hopefully we can get it to run. I don't know what it is in people back in the day with their flathead screws. Gaskets seen better days. Could probably still reuse that one. Looks like that injection pump's frozen. Oh yeah, she's working now. I'm gonna put that gasket back in because that's all we got. Yeah, there's a little bit of stuff in there. Not too bad. Can't believe the injection pump works. It's actually squirting. Who thinks it's gonna leak? Let me know in the comments. You think that thing's gonna leak? I think it's brand new. That's factory. Get in there.
All right, I think we're ready to see it run. It's very primitive, and the seat's not really mounted. This goes on for 30 or 45 minutes, messing around with the linkages and looking at the sensors, the neutral safety switch, and everything associated with the transmission itself. It seems that the torque converter either isn't spinning the transmission because we have no pressure anywhere, or there's a safety switch that's keeping us from getting it into gear. It may be associated with the clutch pedal. We're going to take a look into the clutch, which could potentially keep it from going into gear. Again, I don't know much about this forklift, so we're kind of shooting in the dark here. This thing ran and fucking... It's the next day. Had to go pick up some bolts, pressure washer, mounting bracket for the coil. We're going to get that mounted, and I broke the master cylinder free, so it actually kind of sort of moves. Oh man, it's still a little rough. So we're going to see if that works. The reason I think it wasn't running was because the clutch line is disconnected from that little block right there. So we're going to get that connected. We're going to bleed the front brakes and then bleed the clutch. And hopefully that master cylinder doesn't blow up, and or we blow a line out. They look pretty good. That's a new line right there. And I think that clutch line's new. Oh no. No, that thing's... All right, we got all the brake and clutch lines out, and they don't look good. This is the distribution block, and it is completely clogged going through this side. So I need to drill it out. You can see all the stuff. That's why that was not working. All right. And you can actually see through it now. So that's good. But we weren't so lucky on the passenger side. It was completely clogged. And I mean, it basically is just completely full of rust and everything else. So we have to make a new line for the passenger side. I'm gonna get the block reinstalled to get the driver's side reinstalled. The driver's side looks newer because it has this fitting on it, unless they just cut it and then put a new fitting on it because the end was bad, maybe? I'm not sure. But we're gonna get this reinstalled, get the block reinstalled, get the clutch plumbed, and then we'll run the new line to that block because I don't know where it's gonna be as of yet, and then see if we have a pedal. We got the distribution block back in. It's plumbed for the front left, the clutch from the master, and now we've got to get the new clutch line that I made to attach to the bottom side of that. I already got it over here, just temporarily kind of bent how I'd like it. It'll go over there, and then it'll dive back down and come up. And see if we can't get this thing bled. I tried to push air through the drums. I'm assuming there's a wheel cylinder in there and they're drum brakes. They have to be drum brakes. But I can't lift this thing up. I don't have any jacks that'll pick up 10,000 pounds, or I don't know, I think the front of this thing's probably at least 6,000 pounds. Because this is a lot of stuff right here. Like the transmission and the differential are huge. There's a lot of weight back there too, but this looks, I'm not picking it up, there's no way. If we can't get the front wheel cylinders bled, hopefully we can get the clutch to disengage and we can get it to shift. If we can get it to roll back and forth, maybe the shoes will come loose and it'll let fluid into the cylinders. I don't know, one can hope, right? And I just took the bleeder valve out of the clutch slave cylinder, and there's actually fluid coming out of it, which is good. We're gonna pump this and crack this so that we can get this bled, and then we'll go down to the wheel cylinders and struggle, probably. And here we go again. While we're trying to figure out this transmission issue, we've discovered that it is extremely difficult to get anything to bleed. I've checked the lines with air, everything's flowing to the wheel cylinders. They seem to be bleeding at the valves themselves. So everything is pointing to the master cylinder. When you look up the part number, it comes back to early like 1930s Mopars and Pontiacs and 1950 Corvette, a bunch of different things with the rebuild kit. So we are going to go see if we can find a rebuild kit for the master cylinder and get this thing put back together and hopefully get it into gear. I think the plunger is stuck on the rear side of this bore, so it's not getting a full stroke to make any pressure. We're gonna pull this off and see if we can get that plunger free. And I think everything else is good. As long as we can get this to work, we should be driving today. If not, I have to find one of these, and I'm not sure how I even do that. Yeah, it's hard to see, but you can actually tell that the plunger is stuck at the back of that. And that's why we're not getting any pressure. All right, we got the master cylinder out. As I suspected, the plunger is actually seized on the backstroke, so we're gonna try and figure out how to get that loose. I'm assuming once it comes loose, we'll probably ruin the diaphragm that's in there. Or not, we might get lucky. I've been letting this PB blaster soak here for a little while. See if we can get this thing free. It moved a little bit, but it looks like it's bleeding. You can see the air bubbles coming by. Come on, bro. Oh, the air goes. And you can see how once I push it down, it doesn't come all the way back out to where it's supposed to be. I can actually push it back like that. Oh, there it goes. And it's got this, almost looks like moss going on it. I don't know. Maybe it's some kind of sealant, I'm not sure. Looks like our seal is kind of seen better days. What are the chances we can find a rebuild kit for this? Still looks good though. Bore looks good. No scarring, no cracks. Should be good. All right, so I found a master cylinder rebuild kit, but it's at Napa and they close at 5 and it's 5:11, so that's out of the picture today. We're gonna get this thing cleaned for the rest of the time I have left and find out where all the leaks are, because all the cylinders seem to be leaking and all the lines are on their way out. So we're gonna pressure wash it, take a look at everything, and then get it ready for tomorrow, rebuild the master cylinder, and then maybe we can drive it. Well, it's the next day, and it is terrible out. It's, you know, not conducive to forklift work, but we got shit to do. So, we're gonna grab this master cylinder, go in the garage, see if we can get this done, and hopefully this goes away. It's like snowing. Yeah. It's definitely snowing. Okay. All right, we're here in the garage. We're gonna get this thing rebuilt. I actually found the rebuild kit at Napa, and it comes with almost everything you need except for the little pickup banjo screw. And boom, just like that, you have a brand new rebuilt master cylinder. Just kidding. They gave me the wrong rebuild kit and they didn't have the right one with the correct plunger. So just bought the exact one, which is actually, I mean, pretty good. You usually can't find parts this old, which it kind of sucks because this is China and this is actually a US made product. What are you gonna do, right? Let's slap it in, see if we can drive this forklift. All right, we're back outside. We're gonna get this master cylinder in here. I'm not gonna bench bleed it because I can actually just kind of bench bleed it right here with this plunger. It's a very rudimentary system. There's no power brakes. It's just manual brakes and clutch. So it's probably not the best, but it'll work. And if it does work and our transmission gets into gear, we might just have made a fantastic purchase for a $500 forklift. Even has the new boot, new cap. It's $80, so you know that's not cool, but it's better than 120 bucks. All right, let's top off this master cylinder with some brake fluid. Right about there. Okay. You can just see the casting is so much more porous on these Chinese units. It looks like Swiss cheese. It's kind of disappointing. The plunger is actually the perfect length, so oh yeah, she feels like a master cylinder now, which is cool. And she is sucking it down. I've got the clutch line broken free right now. I'm gonna hook up the brake bleeder to the clutch first, bleed that, then bleed the wheels, and probably bleed them like 8 more times. And we should have a pedal. Should be good. Check for leaks. I think we'll be all right. All right. I just bled the clutch and it has a pedal. So we're gonna see if we can get it into gear. The seat's still not attached very well, so you know, it's not good. Well, so we've been messing with this for a while, so I decided to look at the hydraulic lines going to and from the transmission. There's an oil filter for the transmission fluid, and there's a cooler that goes back to the radiator. I got it dialed. She runs great. Like, runs good. This is the transmission filter, and as you can tell, it's running, and there's no oil coming out of this, so that might be a problem. Okay, well, it is getting really terrible out here, and I don't know why the transmission has no pressure. I'm going to dig into that a little bit further. We did get it running. It does run well. You know, all the hydraulics work, steering works, tilt, the mast works. We just can't get the transmission to shift, and there's no pressure and there's no fluid coming out of the sandwich plate for the oil filter. So there's a problem there. We'll dig into that. If you enjoy the forklift, let me know. If anybody has any recommendations on how to fix it, I'm gonna put the transmission codes I found on the block here. So if anyone would like to look it up and help me out, that'd be great. A little bit of help would be much appreciated.